The people of Zimbabwe must confront the Zanu PF dictatorship head on. We must demand a government based on free, fair, and credible elections, and reject the regime's now standard operandi of rigging elections and then claiming it has the people's mandate. England must move forward to a more enlightened form of government based on such an institution is known as a democracy. These were the memorable words of Oliver Cromwell, the man many people believe was the father of England's parliamentary democracy. Democracy is a Greek drawing based on a foolish notion that there are extraordinary possibilities in very ordinary people, replied King Charles I dismissively. It is the ordinary people who would readily lay their lives in defense of your own, Cromwell fired back. It is simply that in being ordinary, they prefer to be asked and not told. Cromwell, like so many others of his generation, were unhappy with England's feudal political system in which the king enjoyed absolute power. At the time of the above exchange, Charles had dissolved Parliament and had been ruling by decree for 12 years, taxing the poor beyond their means and spending it on his lavish court. Zimbabwe has just had a new tax aimed at those living on US $1 or less a day. The money will pay the debt for buying cars for chiefs, Zanu PF election candidates, chartering a plane for Grace Mugabe from Singapore and back at US $1.4 million a trip, etc. On the political front, Zanu PF is ridden roughshod over the people, denying them their freedoms and basic human rights, including the right to free, fair, and credible elections, even the right to life itself. The Zanu PF regime has murdered over 30,000 Zimbabweans to create and retain the one-party Zanu PF dictatorship. Before independence, Robert Mugabe and his Zanu PF friends promised the nation one man, one vote. But by the time the country attained independence in 1980, they had changed their minds. They were determined to impose a one-party state. They were forced to sign on to the Lancaster House multi-party democratic constitution, but set out to undermine it from day one. Just like King Charles I, Zanu PF leaders had nothing but contempt for the ordinary people's ability to do anything, and have pointedly denied them a meaningful say in the governance of the country. Zanu PF has never held free, fair, and credible elections, be it at party level or national level. Never ever. When President Mnangagwa seized power from Mugabe last year, he promised to hold free, fair, and credible elections. Many hoped that he made the promise because he was aware of the party's lack of democratic credentials and was keen to put this right. Sadly, the promise proved to be a bridge too far. SADC and AU election observers were very careful to focus on the peaceful environment throughout the campaign period and voting day. They said nothing about such glaring flaws and illegalities as the failure to allow 3 million Zimbabweans in the diaspora to vote, and the regime's failure to produce a verified voters' roll, although this is a legal requirement. As for the shooting of 7 unarmed civilians on the 1st of August, shattering the myth that these were peaceful elections, both SADC and AU election reports did not even go there. Other observer teams were more forthright and honest in their condemnation of the elections. The elections are biased and unfair, said the Commonwealth team. Major shortcomings in the pre-election environment impacted on the free expression of the will of the electors. State resources were misused in favor of the incumbent, and coverage by the state media was heavily biased in favor of the ruling party, said the EU election monitor mission in its very detailed report. Further, the Electoral Commission lacked full independence and appeared it was not always act in an impartial manner. The final report results, as announced by the Election Commission, contained numerous errors and lacked adequate traceability, transparency, and verifiability. Finally, the restrictions on political freedoms and excessive use of force by security forces and abuses of human rights in the post-election period undermined the corresponding positive aspects during the pre-election campaign. As such, many aspects of the 2018 elections in Zimbabwe failed to meet international standards, said the report. So there is no point denying that Zanu PF rigged the 30th of July 2018 elections. As recent as last Thursday, President Mnangagwa told police graduates that the elections were peaceful, free, fair, and credible. We have more urgent matters to attend to than to those denials. Now we know that Zanu PF rigged the 30th July 2018 elections. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Answer: we must tell Mnangagwa and his Zanu PF junta in no uncertain terms that they rigged the elections. They are illegitimate and they must go. Zimbabwe must move forward to a more enlightened form of government based on true representation of a free people, to paraphrase Oliver Cromwell. It is not for SADC, the international community, or anyone else to say this. They have all done their bit by condemning the 30th July 2018 elections. What we in Zimbabwe want is for Zanu PF must step down to allow a democratic government to take over. The genie is now out of the bottle, and there is no putting it back. Some people have argued that we must ignore the rigged elections. After all, this is not the first time Zanu PF has rigged elections, and just concentrate on working with the regime. There are 4 things these people must remember. 1, after 38 years of trying to work with the Zanu PF dictatorship and failing, the country is up to her eyes right now, precisely because all the past efforts to work with the regime have failed. It is insane to keep trying the same thing 38 years and counting and expect a different result. 2, with the country's economy in a comatose state, 75% of the population living on US $1 or less per day, etc., the country is standing on the edge of the precipice. This country must finally deal with these demons before hell breaks loose and Zimbabwe becomes just another Somalia, Libya, etc. 3, if we do not force Zanu PF to step down now and allow the regime to stay and allow the regime to stay in office until next elections, then we can be 100% certain of one thing. Zanu PF will rig the 2023 elections just as readily as the party has rigged this year's elections and all the others before it. 4, Zanu PF is imploding. As party members fight for the ever-shrinking cake to escape the rising tide of mass poverty. If we do not decouple Zanu PF, the party, from Zimbabwe, the nation, the party will sink into the abyss and drag the nation with it. When Oliver Cromwell and the other reformers failed to get King Charles I to accept the need for peaceful change, the country was plunged into a bloody civil war. When Charles still refused to listen to reason, they beheaded him. The king is not England, and England is not the king. It is not the survival of the king that is at issue here, but the survival of England. Cromwell summed it up forcefully. I'll say amen to that. Zimbabwe, Zanu PF is imploding. Zanu PF is imploding. The party is rotten to the core, and the center cannot hold. The party is sinking into the abyss and dragging the nation down with it. The greatest duty to ourselves and posterity is to save ourselves and the nation. Our call for democratic, free, fair, and credible election is a just cause, but as history will tell us, that is not enough to guarantee our deliverance. We have demanded free, fair, and credible elections with very little conviction and belief. And when elections have been blatantly rigged, we have, at best, reacted much as the hen after a chick snatching eagle. We made a racket, flapping wings, huffing and puffing to impress the naive and gullible, but knowing fully well that we will do nothing to recover the snatched chick or stop it happening again. We have to confront the Zanu PF dictatorship with as much resolve and revolutionary fervor as we confound the all flap and no substance hands among our people. Brackets. I'm sure you can already guess who these hands are. All will be revealed in the next installment. Thank you.